do the work for us behind the scenes every day. It truly takes a village.
All right, and that one, we'll get started. We'll go to Lou.
Amber, with the status of labor talks with so many free agents, with an expansion draft, do you have any idea what this offseason might even look like?
The WNBA's biggest star disappeared for an entire season. The player who shattered records, sold out arenas, and made basketball history played just 13 games before her body gave out. While the Fever fought their way to the brink of a championship without her, one question haunted every fan. Would Caitlin Clark ever be the same? Now, GM Amber Cox has finally broken her silence, and what she revealed about 2026 changes everything. This isn't just about a comeback. It's about revenge, redemption, and a player who's been through absolute hell, preparing to dominate like never before. The league tried to break her. Opponents targeted her relentlessly. Her own body betrayed her. But if you know anything about Caitlin Clark, you know adversity only makes her more dangerous. Before we dive into what's happening now, before we talk about the comeback everyone's waiting for, you need to understand exactly who Caitlin Clark was long before the WNBA even knew her name. Because this story doesn't start in professional basketball. It doesn't even start in college. It starts in West Des Moines, Iowa, inside a household where basketball wasn't just a hobby. It was part of the family DNA. Caitlin Elizabeth Clark was born on January 22, 2002, to Brent and Nitz Clark. Her father, Brent, played both basketball and baseball at Simpson College in Iowa, making a name for himself as a 4-year letter winner from 1985 to 1988. Her mother came from her own athletic dynasty. Her grandfather, Bob Nitze, was a legendary football coach at Dowling Catholic High School in West Des Moines, the same school all 3 Clark children would eventually attend. Sports weren't just encouraged in the Clark household. They were mandatory. They were like breathing. 11 of Caitlin's family members played collegiate sports across various programs. This wasn't a family that casually watched games on weekends. This was a family that lived, breathed, and bled competition. Caitlin started playing basketball at age 5. But here's what tells you everything about her competitive nature from the start. There weren't enough girls' leagues for her age group in Des Moines. So, what did she do? She joined an all-boys recreational league. Her father, Brent, couldn't find a girls' team that would challenge her, so she went out and competed against boys who were bigger, stronger, and more physically developed. And she didn't just compete, she dominated. She also played softball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, and golf as a child before eventually focusing entirely on basketball. By age 13, she was already playing several years ahead of her age group in girls' leagues because nobody her own age could keep up with her skill level. In 6th grade, she joined All Iowa Attack, an amateur athletic union program based in Ames, Iowa. Her AAU coach was Dixon Jensen, and her teammates included future WNBA player Ashley Jones. Even at that young age, everyone who watched Caitlin knew they were witnessing something rare, something that only comes around once in a generation. But what truly shaped Caitlin's competitive fire was growing up with 2 brothers and a house full of male cousins. Her older brother Blake, her younger brother Colin, and 4 cousins treated her exactly like any other competitor, which is to say, they never went easy on her. Not even close. Her mother recalled in an ESPN documentary how brutal they could be, laughing as she remembered. They'd put her in a snowsuit and throw water balloons at her. Blake remembered those days vividly. When it was hot and humid and we had nothing to do, she'd have all her snow gear on so she wouldn't feel the hits, but she just wanted to play with us. Think about that image for a second. A young Caitlin Clark, dressed in full winter gear in the middle of an Iowa summer, getting pelted with water balloons by her brothers and cousins, all because she wanted to be included in their games. She didn't ask for special treatment. She didn't want them to take it easy. She wanted to prove she belonged, and she was willing to endure anything to earn that respect. The competitive intensity in that household led to some wild moments. Colin Clark, Caitlin's younger brother, remembered a one-on-one basketball game in the basement that got out of hand fast. "I remember I was playing good defense," Colin said. "She missed a shot." Caitlin picked up the story from there, with zero apology in her voice. "I was just getting so angry and pissed that I just chucked him into the wall." Blake finished the story. He put his hand behind his head, and there was just blood everywhere. Colin needed 4 staples to close the wound. Most families would have stopped playing after something like that. But the Clarks? They kept competing. That's who they were. That's who Caitlin became, someone who would literally draw blood before accepting a loss, even against her own little brother in a meaningless basement game. Her older brother Blake became one of her most trusted mentors and confidants as they both pursued sports at high levels. Blake was an old soul. According to their father, Brent, he was someone who understood the mental side of competition in ways most people never could. Blake went on to play quarterback for Iowa State University, where he became close friends with San Francisco 49ers star quarterback Brock Purdy. Purdy later told reporters that Blake Clark was one of his best friends from their 4 years together at Iowa State, even having Blake in his wedding. Through Blake, Purdy got to know Caitlin. "We'd always watch her, and what a baller she was from day one," Purdy said before the Super Bowl. "Even back in high school, we knew she was going to be a game changer. To see her now absolutely killing it, I couldn't be happier for her." Caitlin talked to Blake practically every single day, leaning on his basketball knowledge and his honest feedback. "He knows the game really, really well," she told reporters. "That's something I can always lean on whenever I have a tough game or things aren't going my way. He usually watches if it's on TV or Big Ten Plus. He even pays to watch it. He's really honest, and I know it's always in my best interest." That relationship, that daily communication with someone who understood elite competition, shaped how Caitlin approached every challenge. Her younger brother, Colin, followed both siblings into basketball at Dowling Catholic High School. Caitlin was his biggest supporter, constantly retweeting his highlights and celebrating his achievements on social media. When Colin received an award in 2022, Caitlin wrote on Twitter, "Proud of you, kid." When he hit a three-pointer in January 2023, she retweeted the video with bang and his handle. The family bonds ran deep, strengthened by shared sacrifice and mutual respect earned through countless battles in driveways and basements across West Des Moines. Her cousin, Audrey Faber, also carried the family torch, playing college basketball at Creighton University in Nebraska from 2015 to. ESPN called Audrey one of Caitlin's main role models back in 2017. The cousins regularly talked basketball strategy and mental approach. Everywhere Caitlin looked growing up, she saw examples of people who had competed at high levels and understood the dedication it took to succeed. Her grandfather, Bob Nitze, watched all his grandchildren play, but reserved special praise for Caitlin. "It's just a marvelous thing to remember that she's wired special," Nitze said in a 2023 interview. "Sometimes there are special athletes that God has created, and God coaches, and Caitlin Clark is one of those." When Caitlin entered Dowling Catholic High School in West Des Moines in 2016, expectations were already sky-high based on her AAU success. And she didn't disappoint. As a freshman on varsity, she averaged 15.3 points, 4.7 assists, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.3 steals per game. She earned Class 5A All-State Third-Team honors from the Iowa Newspaper Association and All-Iowa Honorable Mention from the Des Moines Register. Caitlin led her team to a 19-5 record and a Class 5A state tournament appearance, where they lost in the first round to the eventual champions. Most freshmen would have been thrilled with that season, but Caitlin was just getting started. As a sophomore, she exploded onto the state scene in a way nobody expected, averaging 27.1 points, 6.5 rebounds for assists, and 2.3 steals per game, ranking second in the entire state in scoring. Despite being just a sophomore, she was named first-team Class 5A All-State by the Iowa Print Sports Writers Association and Central Iowa Metro League Player of the Year by the Des Moines Register. She helped Dowling reach the Class 5A state quarterfinals and finish with a 20-4 record. But it was her junior year when Caitlin truly announced herself as something unprecedented in Iowa high school basketball history. She led the state in scoring, averaging a staggering 32.6 points, 6.8 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 2.3 steals per game. During the state tournament, Caitlin put on a performance people in Iowa still talk about today. In the Class 5A quarterfinals against Waukee High School, the game went to triple overtime. Caitlin scored 42 points, setting the Class 5A state tournament single-game scoring record. She carried her team on her back for 3 extra periods, refusing to let them lose. Dowling won 75-70, with Caitlin playing what felt like an entire extra game by herself. They reached the semifinals before their season ended with a 17-8 record, but Caitlin's legend in Iowa high school basketball was already cemented. Then came the game that nobody who witnessed it will ever forget. On January 31, 2019, against Mason City, Caitlin scored 60 points in a single game. 60. Think about that number. In high school basketball, where games are just 32 minutes long with a running clock, she dropped 60. It was the second highest single-game point total in Iowa 5-on-5 girls basketball history, surpassed only by Abby Roebuck's mark in 1996. Caitlin also set the state single-game record with 13 three-pointers made that night. 13 threes. She wasn't just beating teams. She was putting on shows that defied belief. Fans drove from across the state just to watch her play. Opposing coaches built entire defensive schemes to stop her, and she still dropped 60 on their heads. As a senior in 2019 to 2020, Caitlin averaged 33. 4 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.7 steals per game, leading the state in scoring for a second consecutive year. She repeated as Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year, becoming just the second player in state history to win the award twice. She collected numerous other honors, including All-Iowa Athlete of the Year and Iowa Miss Basketball. Dowling Catholic finished with a 19-4 record and reached the Class 5A state championship game, ultimately falling just short. By the end of her high school career, Caitlin Clark had scored 2,547 points, etching her name forever into Iowa basketball history.